The crowd cheered. The lights shone brightly. Cameras flashed. And there he was, Jannik Sinner, standing on court with a smile that looked convincing to the world, but was hiding a storm behind the scenes. Nobody knew. Nobody saw it. Nobody understood what he was battling with, until now. In a sport that demands perfection from your very first serve to your last breath, pain doesn't ask for permission. It just arrives, creeping in silently, uninvited, and if you're not strong enough, it devours your spirit. But Sinner, he chose to fight. For months, fans wondered what was wrong. Why the sudden drop in performance? Why the slight hesitation when moving to his backhand? Why the occasional grimace, quickly covered up with a forced smile? And why didn't he just take a break? The answer is heartbreaking in its simplicity. Because he couldn't. Because champions don't always have that luxury. Because sometimes, the world doesn't want to hear excuses. It only wants results. Sinner recently opened up about what many feared but didn't dare ask. He had been playing through injury. And not just any injury, but persistent nagging pain that haunted him every time he stepped onto the court. He revealed that the pain wasn't just physical. It was mental, emotional, and it started to chip away at his confidence, his peace, his love for the very game he's dedicated his life to. Imagine waking up every morning knowing that the thing you love most in the world is also the thing hurting you. Imagine stepping onto the court with your body screaming in protest, while the world is screaming for results. That's the double-edged sword Jannik Sinner has been quietly bleeding from. He admitted to sleepless nights, to treatments that didn't always work, to physio sessions that left him exhausted, and to matches where he didn't know if he'd make it through the second set, let alone the entire tournament. But still he played. He played because he didn't want to disappoint his team. He played because he didn't want to let down the fans. He played because in his heart there was a fire still burning, even if his body was breaking. Sinner's team tried their best to shield him, to protect his image, to manage the injury without raising alarm. But behind closed doors, it was a daily battle. Every practice session became a test of willpower. Every match became a question, can I survive this? He wasn't just battling opponents across the net. He was battling himself. There were days when he felt invincible, and then there were days when he questioned everything. His form, his future, even his identity as a player. Because when you're in pain, doubt doesn't take long to settle in. It wraps around your mind like fog, clouding your instincts, your confidence, your clarity. And perhaps the most painful part of all was the silence. He couldn't talk about it, couldn't explain it, couldn't ask for sympathy, because in tennis, like in life, vulnerability can sometimes be mistaken for weakness. And weakness is something top athletes are taught to hide. So he hid it. Behind smiles. Behind post-match interviews. Behind, I'll be fine, and just a little sore. But now the truth is out. And the weight of hiding it all seems heavier in hindsight. Jannik Sinner isn't just a tennis player. He's a warrior. A quiet, determined, graceful warrior who put everything on the line, his comfort, his body, his career, to chase something bigger than himself. And yet, when he lost, some said he was overhyped. When he withdrew, some said he was soft. When his ranking dipped, some said he'd peaked too early. If only they knew what he was carrying. He played through tournaments while nursing injuries that should have put him on the sidelines. He fought through 5-set marathons with muscles screaming in pain. He gave interviews moments after breaking down in the locker room. And he did it all not for applause, but for love, the love of tennis, the love of competition, the love of the journey. He didn't want pity. He still doesn't. He just wanted to be honest. To say, I'm human. I struggled. I hurt. And I still gave you everything I had. And in that honesty, he reminded us all of something important. Athletes are not machines. They break too. They bleed too. They doubt too. And when they fall, they don't need judgment. They need understanding. Jannik Sinner's confession is not a weakness. It's one of the bravest things he's ever done. Because it takes more strength to speak your truth than to hide behind silence. He now takes the time to heal, to reflect, and to rebuild. And even though the road ahead is uncertain, there's something incredibly powerful about watching someone rise from a place of pain, not just physically, but emotionally. His fans never left. They've been waiting patiently, praying silently, and cheering even louder now that they know the truth. Because when you realize that your favorite player wasn't just playing matches, but fighting invisible battles with every stroke, the admiration only deepens. We've seen champions lift trophies. But watching someone like Sinner rise, after nearly falling apart in silence, that's a different kind of victory. That's heart. That's courage. That's the spirit of tennis. So when Jannik Sinner steps back onto that court, fully healed, fully honest, and fully himself, it won't just be a return. It will be a resurrection. A statement. A thunderous echo that says, "I went through the fire. I played through the pain. And I'm still here." Let that sink in. Because the next time you see him step up to serve, know that every point, every rally, every drop of sweat, comes from a place of unimaginable strength. And that is the true story behind the pain.